Okay, Steve, let's go over today's lesson. It's December 27, and we're working on getting better at hitting down on the ball. I think by your own description of your round, you hit every drive or damn near every drive solid, or, in play. When the bad ones were in play, the other good ones were nice and solid and down the middle. Okay, but you're struggling off the turf, right? And you're struggling in the short shot. So that means that you're not hitting down, you're hitting up. See, that stands to reason. When the ball's up here on a peg, if you're an up hitter, you're going to have less trouble with that than you are a ball on the ground. There is the other side of this coin. Some people hit down too much, and they're good at hitting the turf, but they struggle with the T-ball. So what I've got to do for you is get you to hit down more. And there's a couple habits that we've been working on breaking. And one of them is this lead arm. Okay, so at the address here, if you look at this, the lead arm is nothing more. Oh, come on, I'm on the wrong thing. The lead arm, which is your left arm, is nothing more than an extension of the golf club, straight down your arm. So you don't want to put your, as I said, you don't want to deal off the club too much. Your hand's a little bit in front of it, but not that much. But you see how your arm is extended, and it's nothing more than an extension of the golf club when you look at it from that picture. When you come back to hitting the ball, that's pretty much where you'd want it to be. Okay, so it's not quite long enough, is it? At the end of the day, we started showing you how you snap your wrist and unsnap your wrist. Cock your wrist, uncock your wrist. Let me show you a model on that, and I'll show you what I mean. Let me see if I can find a good model. We gave you the drills where you put your feet together. Now she's over 6 feet tall, this gal. There's the wrist cock. Halfway back, the wrists are fully hinged. Now, coming down, she snaps the wrist at the ball right there. Snap the wrist at the ball, and then what do? They rehinge. So watch this picture. Cock the wrist, snap it, extension of the arm, snap it 45. So it goes from like this, and at impact it's like this, and on this side it's just the opposite. Here's the straight line, and here's the backswing. You see? That's hinged, snap, unhinged. The reason that I gave you that drill today, and we had a lot of success with it, when you were hitting, you got to slow it down a little bit and not be concerned about how far the ball goes. You have to be concerned that we do it more consistently off the ground. And you can't do it with a lot of body movement, up and down and all over the place. And the arm retracting. Okay? So I want you to work on that feet together, low T, cock the wrist, snap them. Just feel like you're using all hands and arms and wrists to break you of this habit of too much swaying of the body and up and down and up and all over the place. So that's one thing we're going to do. Next thing is when you swing back, you're going to try your best to get your arm across your chest more, not up in here. Okay, that's a habit that you can break without worrying too much about, like you can go in your backyard, let's say. You don't even have to go to a driving range and do that. You got to get your arm more across your chest. Okay, so we're going to set up and we're going to keep this over the ball. We're going to keep it right over the ball. Don't sway too much. Try to stay centered on that ball. By this point, your wrist should be fully hinged. You should already have the wrist cocked and that club at the air. Arm on the chest. See how late they're hinging? Or keep the arm straight, even in the backswing if you can, it would help you. Now when you come down, uncock those wrists. Straight down first. Before you unwind, snap the wrist. See, we're never really hinging them, we're just breaking the left arm down. It's like a long chip shot. So if we can get that look that I was showing you with Michelle Wie, where it looks more like this, hit down and then the club comes right back up, you're going to see it. It's going to be really different. If you see how wide this is, never really rehinges. Right? So that's the thing I want to show you, is how much wrists are involved that you're not using, because that's the way we have to break the habit of hitting down. It really is. So by the time she comes over here, she's already rehinged. Both arms are fully extended and the club straight up and down at the air. Straight up and down, pointed at the ground. Yours never gets there. Because look at the left arm. Left arm's chicken winging. You're not alone in this. That's the most common habit in golf. Keep the head down too long and chicken wing the arm. The other thing too is that she starts to get through the ball, but we're going to do this maybe next time if you can get that wrist snap and then down from the inside. Wrist snap and down from we've got to get rid of the scoop habit in your game. That's the whole series of lessons that we're working on right now, is trying to get away from you helping the ball up in the air and trying to learn to smash it down into the ground, because let the loft of the club then take it up in the air. Okay, so we're going to keep working. Left arm across the chest. And the hands have to fall straight down back here. We don't want to let them go out. So if I went up to here, if I went up to here, I would want your hands and arms to come down under that line. And not over that line. Okay, so you got to start them down further behind you, and I'm going to show you this model now to look at. Arms across the shoulders, right? The left arm's across the shoulders. Now watch how far, he doesn't even come anywhere near that line. Look how far the hands and arms drop under that shoulder, drop under that line. Okay, so go back here, and you see what I mean? They're on the other side of the line. Okay, now let me show you where your hands are. If I bring his hands down to about the same point in the downswing, in other words, your arms and his arms have swung down about just as far. You're right about in the middle of your body here, right here. Right? But look where your hands are. They're out under your face here, under the bill of your cap. Look where his hands are. They're still right back over his, right under his right shoulder and over his knee. So we've got to do two things. Get the arm on the chest, bring it down inside the line, and snap the wrist down into the ball. Gradually, if we can get onto that, we're going to add this follow through like he's doing with that right heel coming up and not just flat footed. So this is coming from the outside, and we're hitting it flat footed, but we can't get to this too soon until we actually start getting it down on the inside. See where you start here? Your hands are going pretty far out, aren't they? So there's the club here starting down on this angle. And coming in much more vertically. That's too steep coming down. Now you did have a lot of success when the best shots that you hit today were the ones where you didn't feel like you were dragging the handle across it. You were snapping the wrist, letting them hinge on the backswing, snap at the downswing at the ball, and then rehinge on the other side. So I think we're going to stay with the wrist drills until we actually get you into a feeling and a way of hitting down on the ball. All right. So here's what we want to do. Right there would be fine to be done with your backswing. Right there. Don't let the arm break down so much. Keep it at that angle. Don't do that last part where you lift here. Now drop them down behind you. Drop them way back down here. Now let it snap. Snap into the ball. See where you are when you finish? Look where you are when you finish. The foot's off the ground, you're facing the target. All you had to do was get there a little bit earlier as you snap down. So that's big. That's a big improvement today. You know, we did a lot with that feet together drill. We keep reaching into our bag of tricks until you can actually get a feeling of how you move that golf club. And for you, it's a lot less bending of the left arm and snapping of the wrist, which will give it some force to hit down into it. Okay, remember the grip change that I made. You have to look down at your left hand and see two knuckles. One over your index, one over your middle. The groove in your hand that's between your index knuckle and your thumb, that little V there, that has to point at your right shoulder. And you have to be able to read the whole logo on your glove. So the pad of your left thumb would be on the side of the club, not the top of the club. That's big. If you do start saying, well, I was hitting some balls pretty solid this week, but they were going over like this, we might move that grip back, but it'd be way better than hitting this high puff to the right, which really doesn't go anywhere. But the rest of it all applies, okay? So you're going to feel the left arm on the shoulder, much flatter with the backswing, arms down behind you. Bring them down, not out. Snap the wrist into the ball, and then we'll get on the follow through. Okay, Steve, see you.